Good evening. We are playing White Box by Charlie Mason for rules, and this adventure is based on the actual adventure written by someone else that I will reveal at the end of this broadcast because I don't want to give away any spoilers where it come from. At this point, we find our player characters have received a note from a mutual friend they all have by the name of Echius. Echius the Oracle. He's a scholar and a wizard that studies quite a bit. And he has sent them a note asking them to meet him at the Candle of Dragonfire Tavern one night so he can discuss a matter with them. It's pretty vague in what he says, but all of y'all have been friends with Echius for quite some time, so you know whatever it is will probably be something that could turn out to be profitable for everybody involved. And as we do, we'll start with you, Crystal. If you can tell me about your character, who you're playing, and kind of your thoughts on receiving the note from Echius.
Yeah. I'm playing Dalo the White, cleric, servant of Shimbium, the god of tranquility. He and Dalo grew up in the same town with his friend Echius. So, upon hearing Echius and seeing his handwriting, he thinks back to those childhood times back when they were both just kids running around the town, using sticks to pretend they were brave knights and paladins slaying monster. And of course, as they got older, Dalo he entered with the church and became a cleric, while his friend went on to, study the magical arts. Dalo doesn't, have any problem with that, of course, and his friend being in trouble, he just thinks how nice it'll be to, get to see his friend again. He hasn't been home in many years, and this will be a nice little refreshing breath. And so he calls for um, his servant Herwick, who is his traveling companion. Herwick was exiled from his homeland. He was once a nobleman, but has since lost that title, and for now he's in the service of Dalo, and he travels with him and just tries to be the best kind of shield bearer he can be.
All right, sounds good to me. Yang, if you tell me about who you're playing and what you think about receiving a note from your friend Echius.
He's glad to receive the note, and he readily, promptly, goes out to meet his friend Echius. So Durnan is actually, a nobleman from a faraway land, and he has led a very boring life for a good portion of his life. But once he reached his mid 40s, he's pondered the life that he had led up till that point, and decided to try a hand in adventuring. So he left his homestead and his land and everything, and coaxed his gardener Balbix to accompany him on this extraordinary journey to slay monsters and find heroism across the land. So it's been a little while. It's been like 4 years since he left, and he's made friends here and there. And currently, you see this middle-aged guy wearing ring armor, wearing a horned helmet, and across his back you see him with a sheathed two-handed sword. He's wearing some sort of a furry underpants, and he has bare thighs and close to knee-high boots, which is also furry. And
All right.
yep. So he's on his way.
All right. What about Daniel and your character and their thoughts?
so we cut to this kind of really seedy boarding house in the worst part of town. There's a knock, on the room door, and you hear a woman's voice. She says, "Boy, get that! Oh, my head's hurting." And the Bolio, the young boy, gets up and opens the door, and there's a big fat boarding house owner standing there, and he says, "Here's a note for your master. She's not my master, and make sure she pays before she leaves." And he slams the door in the face as Bolio wakes Morgan up with some wine, as is her normal morning drink. She reads the note and looks at the few coins she has left in her pocket and says, "I think we're going to leave out of the back door," as she heads out to meet her friend.
All right, perfect. And y'all would know, y'all have been to the Candle of Dragonfire Tavern before. It's kind of on the outskirts of the town. It's a very small wooden building, and you would know that on the outside the sign has a picture of this ever-burning candle. This candle always seems to have a glow to it, and the owner, the innkeeper and owner, is a older female elf by the name of Elitis. And if anybody always asks her about that, she always just makes a joke about, well, it's some of that elven magic that keeps it lit. But that is the Candle of Dragonfire Tavern, where you meet your friend Echius the Oracle. And as you make your way there, he wanted you to meet him at night. And as you come in, you will see your friend Echius, who's bald-headed with a beard and a mustache, and he always wears this glowing greenish earring that hangles and dangles down with a pendant from one of his ears that always has like a kind of a sickly green glow to it, but it captures your attention, of course, and he never speaks of it or what it does, but you see him sitting in the corner as he raises his arm towards you first, Dalo, as you come in.
Aegis, my old friend, how good to see you again. It's been so many years. And Dalo will go and embrace Aegis in a hug.
Oh, yeah, he'll jump up and give you a big, hearty hug. He's a very stocky guy for being a wizard and an oracle and a studier of history, but he does that. And as you sit down, you notice and you see kind of everyone turns to look, and they notice the large berserker enter Durnan.
Durnan enters. Boom, boom, boom. And he looks at him and says, "Well, hello there, chap." And then he pats him on his back. "Well, have you some adventure for old Durnan here?"
Well, yes, we must await one more party member. And as I figured, I would figure she would be the last one to arrive. Just the way that she always is, but...
Oh, Aetius, you can't mean who I think you mean.
Well, we're all friends now.
Surely you haven't kept in touch with her.
Well, no, we're all friends, We have to put aside any small differences and look at the greater good.
It's that greater good of that gold, which was supposed to go to the temple, but oddly ended up missing my pouch just before she skipped town.
As you say that and maybe point towards the door, saying greater good, the door bursts open as Morgan comes in.
So you see Morgan step in. It kind of would be attractive in a certain way. Blonde, human woman. She's maybe 20 years old, scars on her face from many battles, chainmail armor, chipped and bloodied, sword at her side. Behind her is a young boy, about 13 years old. He's got like a wheelbarrow with two large backpacks with just an assortment of just junk hanging off of it, rope and fruit and all kinds of things that 17 different ways do you carry water. None of it kind of seems like they were bought from any place with a reputation. She steps in and she says, "Echius, you old bastard, I hope we got some gold for this. I was busy." Then she steps forward with a laugh. And
as you say that loudly, some people turn and look as you say that, and you see Echius just kind of You see his pendant start glowing a little bit green, and he kind of settles down in his chair some and motions for you to come to the corner table where they are. And as you do, he goes, "Now, you know, using the word gold around a group of people in a tavern is usually not the smart thing to do. You do not have the wisdom that Dalo has."
Well, if they come for my gold, they'll leave with more holes in their body than they started with.
Oh,
Oh,
dear.
get me a drink. And she plops down. Her armor jingles.
Well,
She looks over at Darren.
as Shimburian teaches, some things remain constant and the same throughout all ages. Some things are timeless.
Are you still droning on over there, preacher man? And who are you? Oh, wow. I like those furry pants.
Well, have we not met before? It's me, Dernan. I have
She
grown.
squints at you. Oh, yeah. Dernan. She winks.
Dernan. Yes, we have traveled together about 3 months ago, yes?
Yeah. I didn't remember you wearing so many clothes back then.
Well, I have dispensed away with those clothes and adopted more practical attire. And I find them quite breezy.
You wear it well, my friend.
Why, thank you. Ooh, it's quite breezy here.
You would note one thing about the tavern inside. There's like a motley um, group of like these luck charms and these talismans that hang from the ceiling. The main room is just covered with different ones that have been put up over the years to hopefully bring good luck to everyone. A couple of these serving girls bring out a large tray as Ekius has already placed orders for you, knowing that you would be there. They bring out the special of the evening, which is a large cup of the stout and a big, huge plate of this stewed salmon and turnip greens and rolls as they bring it out and set on your table. And Ekius goes, "Please partake of the food and the drink while I share with you a story that has brought us all together."
Oh, goody, goody, a story. I'm eager to hear what you have to say, Ekius.
What's the bartender's name again?
The lady that owns the place, she's an older elf, female elf named Elitis.
Okay, so Dalo will say, "Hurok, why don't you go grab a drink and some food at the bar? Ask Edith why the candle outside stays lit." And my servant will nod and go do so.
All right, yeah, you send him off, and as you begin maybe eating and drinking, Ekius pulls out a book of where he's got notes written, and y'all would know he's a very studious guy that studies ancient histories and things along with his magics. And he gets quieter. He's kind of got a booming voice for his size, but he gets a little quieter so that hopefully y'all's group is the only one that hears this. And he says, "Well, in my studies recently, I've discovered some old documents. They have told about the four men who walked this land in a former age, thousands and thousands of years ago. There were giants that walked this land and ruled this land. And I've done quite a bit of study on it, and I have discovered some old maps and some old notes. Evidently, there is a crypt, a tomb that is supposed to hold the sarcophagi of three of the old giant lords. I'm sure it is filled with such great historical artifacts. And as you know, I don't do things as quite like y'all do, so that's why I brought you three together and your retainer to to go and hopefully discover this old hidden crypt and bring back any of these historical artifacts and books and scrolls so that I may study. And of course, I make enough living myself that if you find anything else that is of value as far as gold or artifacts that are not going to interest my historical perspective, of course you can keep them and divide them amongst yourselves, of course. But I believe I have found enough in these notes to hopefully get you to the location.
That sounds quite fair, old chap. I'm quite giddy with anticipation, as a matter of fact.
I've got a little bit of some bills to pay before I can leave town. Do you think you could take care of that for me?
Ooh, an advance! He drums his finger.
You just got in town. You already got some debts to settle, eh? Timeless as ever.
What, are you keeping track of me?
Of course not.
You were always a lecherous old man.
Mere observation, that's all.
Oh, he looks at Morgan and he says, "Well, what would the total amount of these debts happen to be?"
Oh, not much. Maybe 100 gold pieces.
You see,
In
as,
other words, it's 10 gold pieces to the local tavern whore.
you see his green pendants start glowing that sickly green again, off and on, as you're kind of mesmerized and you look past where he's looking at you and you're looking at it, and he goes, "Well, I hope that you are able to find enough to recover. Just leave a note here of who I need to speak with as you go, and I will take care of it."
You're a good friend, and I smack him on the shoulder.
Sometimes too good.
Here, here.
He pulls out like a rolled up piece of parchment where he's made some notes for you all, and he's kind of drew a map, and he says, "Well, it would appear that this crypt, if it does still exist and is easily accessible, it would appear that it will be found deep in the fern green forest, about a 2-day travel from here. Of course, you can leave tonight if you would like, or leave in the morning, or just leave whenever. Just I would leave town as soon as you can, though, since maybe some people are looking for Morgan."
Well, not if you take care of it.
Well,
Well-
Morgan's issues are not my issues, and I would at least like to visit my parents before I leave, of course.
Well, I just, yes, I can take care of your stuff, Morgan. I just don't want you to add on to this tally that you've come up with, though, is what I'm trying to say.
Understood, and I raise my hand for another drink. Yeah, we're actually ready to go now. I have all my gear. I have my apprentice, Squire. And he, at that, Yabolo kind of like does like a weird bow, like awkward bow. And I say, "And we shall take upon us the task at hand and bring back the treasure, as always."
Well, as I've said, any historical books or things with the history of this giant race and things that would involve that, and maybe if there's any scrolls that you feel have magical properties that good Dalo cannot interpret, bring them back, and I will be glad to. That's what I'm after, of course. And if you find other things that will benefit your group, they are yours for the taking.
So the boy, Bolio speaks up and he says, "Morgan, remember the last time we were in a tomb, there were many of the writings weren't on scrolls, but rather runes in the walls." And then she looks at him and she says, "Oh, you're paying attention." And she looks back at Ikius and says, "Perhaps some parchment and chalk so we can take some imprints.
He reaches down into, you see, he has a satchel or whatever he carries with him, and he opens it up and he pulls out a wrapped up, kind of a small leather bag, and he says, I kind of figured those would come in handy, so I was prepared to hand them to you.
Well done, boy. Thank you. Oh, great oracle. She kind of makes a big deal, and then she drinks her wine.
But yes, as I say, y'all work amongst yourselves when you think it would be best to leave and just to follow this map. You be careful in the forest, of course. I mean, there's probably this far deep. There's not many people go.
Well, I'm ready to leave now. If the priest needs to kneel and bend a knee, I'll stay here and get myself well, hydrated until then. And she sits back and gets comfortable.
As I said, I would like to visit my parents before I leave, but if I must do so when I get back from this quest, it wouldn't be a problem.
Good friend Darnan. Morgan has decided that it's best to leave post haste this evening, this night, to go, and Dalo feels like it's best to wait till maybe tomorrow. What are your thoughts, Darnan? It's about a 2-day travel into the Fine Green Forest, though. Oh, well, he seems to be thinking quite a bit on this. And he reaches up and taps the pendant from his ear, and he says, no, that's not distracting him. Darnan, would you like another plate of food, maybe?
I would like to eat food.
Well,
perhaps he's in, those moods he used to get into. I hope we don't have an episode right here in the tavern.
yes, he does have sometimes mood issues, but maybe he's just in deep thought and trying to figure out what's best for you and your friend to travel.
Yes. Deep contemplation. Do not worry. Durnham. I'm Morgan. You don't have to give it such tremendous thought. You can just pick one or the other, whichever one you think is best.
What is it you want me to pick?
I looked at the wrong screen.
So she looks at Ekius and she says, I guess I should ask, though I know you won't tell much. Should we suspect that some of these giants might be walking still, quite upright, along with the dead?
Oh, dear Morgan, what a vivid imagination. I would hope that you do not meet any of these giants that are still walking. I mean, that has been hence ages ago before men walked this earth. But if you do meet them, I would advise you to run as fast as you can. Let Darnan face them.
Yes, of course. I am back finally. Ooh, that terrible, weak old beef dish was certainly a terrible thing to have. Well, I'm back certainly. As I was saying earlier, before I was running off to the outhouse, I would agree with her in saying that we should leave post haste immediately if we could.
Very well. I will delay my meeting with my parents until I return.
So Morgan looks at Ekius and says, well, you also told me that the bear with the face of an owl has not been around for thousands of years, yet that seemed to be a real thing. And she kind of rubs the scar that's on her arm.
He
I
doesn't
will.
say anything. His pendant starts glowing a sickly green again, just like turns into a vibrant green as he just looks at you, and there's no response, as he knows there's nothing to say to that.
I will say that I have met the unliving. They're not something we necessarily want to run into again.
Yes, I certainly hope we don't run into those damn gnolls. I hate those gnolls. Ate one of my other servants the other day. Well, the other day, 5 years ago.
Yes. I often confuse times of such exaggeration.
Well, there's no point in having a good adventure wait for us. I'd say let us depart as soon as possible.
I agree. Barkeep, one more wine to go. And I'm going to get another one.
Ekius looks at you, Morgan, and he says, "Well, just why don't you just take what's left of the bottle you've been drinking from? I'll cover the cost, of course."
She looks and she says, "Thank you." And snags the bottle up. She kind of stumbles forward a little bit and then she gets her composure. Come on, apprentice, squire, sage, scribe, Molio. And he kind of looks and starts picking up the wheelbarrow full of all their junk.
Dalo will lean over to Durnan and say, 1 silver piece, she doesn't even make it to the tomb.
Well, I would say 2 silvers. That she does.
Oh, she does have to steal all of the gold from us after all. Yes, I suppose.
True enough. Well, it is said that drunk riding is the #1 cause of death around here.
You know what? I actually read that too. Well, we can only be so lucky.
Well, young folks, they certainly ride recklessly. I've even seen some of them scribe and ride before.
No way. Can't believe they knew him to do such a thing.
Forsooth, my friend, I tell thee the truth.
Scribing is certainly something that can wait until you're off your horse. I put all of my scribing in a case, and I only remove it from the case whenever I'm safely away from mounted vehicles.
You see Morgan poke her head back inside the door. Are we going?
Yeah, I assume we were walking and talking.
Aha. Then we are. Okay, off we go.
As you begin your adventure, you find a drawing that Ekius has sent with you, an old drawing that pictures what appears to be humanoids that are standing there talking to these very large, tall humanoids that he has put in there as a picture for y'all to maybe get an idea of what history that you were trying to discover.
Oh, jeez. Do you think that's an odd perspective in the art, or are the giants really that tall?
I believe they are that tall. That's probably the reason why they're called giants, after all. Hello?
I mean, they're probably giant, but I mean, surely they're not that tall. I mean, remember that, Ekius is a magic user of sorts, and not an artist. So
Yes,
he just drew the perspective on.
even my torchbearer, Balbix, could have drawn better. Isn't that right, Balbix? And yeah, Balbix, the diminutive fellow, turns over to him and says, "Yes, master. Of course I can. Yes." As the fellows have said, that drawing definitely needs some work. The perspective is all wrong. and then he continues to ride.
Y'all make it to the edge of the Thane Green Forest, and by now it's very late. It's probably about, we'll say, 10 p.m. or so as you make it there after meeting with Ekius and stuff. Would you want to try to set up camp that night and rest till the morning, or do you want to keep proceed?
Have we been through the forest before at all? And if so, do we know like how long it takes to get through?
Yeah, you've probably been on the outer edges of where you are now, but you know that not too many people go further deep into it because there's always stories of things in there that you will never come back. But you've been on the edges of it. It's pretty, seems to be pretty safe on the edges as far as you know. But once you get further in deep, it's very treacherous travel.
How do you
forest.
fare? How do you fare,
When-
Morgan? You had quite a lot to drink earlier, and I would think that perhaps it is wise for us to set camp here.
Yeah, I agree. I think we should camp now. When our last night of safety, are you saying that you can outdrink me?
No. At mine age, it is impossible for me to even consider drinking as much as you do.
Huh.
Perhaps it would be wise for us to not consume as much alcohol. After all, it can be dangerous out around these forests. When Ekius and I were younger, we would dare each other to go in, though neither of us would ever venture that far.
Yes.
By the
and
way,
you've probably
Dalo-
not ventured very far, even as an adult, where
By
I
the
have
way-
been deep in the forest.
Yes.
Well, when I was a boy, I had never experienced a goblin before. I was petrified of them.
Of goblins, you say?
Of course, when you're a child, things do
Goblins are
frighten
nasty.
you. The thought of being carried off and eaten by them.
'Tis fair. Certainly, those goblins do quite the number on little children. Yes.
Yeah, I think we'll set up camp here. I get off my horse and start to set up.
Morgan, are you actually gonna take a watch this time, or is one of us gonna have to work double duty?
Delo, I would say perhaps it is wiser for us to keep the first watch, and once Morgan comes to, then she could resume the watch. Thus, I volunteer to keep the first watch.
We've been through this before. She tends to only sleep through her watch, but
Worry not, my friend. We shall wake her up together. We'll shout at her.
yeah, we'll see. I'll take the second
Morgan is
watch.
basically ignoring you, knowing that you're a blusterous priest and that she's a mighty warrior. So she says, "If you would like to do first watch, old man, feel free. Wake me up when it is my turn."
Old
She-
man, am I? I am only 48, my friend. I am in my prime, I tell you.
She pulls off her chainmail, and it hangs it over the wheelbarrow, and then takes her bedroll out and then lays it out and quickly falls asleep.
And you see Durnan go over to the corner of the edge of the camp, grumbling. It's like, old man, am I? Baldix, keep an eye on the other side of the camp. And you hear him say, "Yes, master, I shall. Yes." And you see him plop down, and with his sword hilt on his hand, he keeps the watch.
All right, Darnan, you and Balbix, as y'all keep the first watch, roll me a d6.
Do I roll 2d6?
No, just
Okay, just one. I got 2.
all right. About close to the end of your watch, getting close to the end, you probably both were getting tired, and it's about time to wake up Adalo and Hurrick. But you hear a noise coming. It kind of jolts you back to your senses. and you see bursting through the trees, and all of a sudden is a very large, what you would know is a forest ape. It's very brown, covered fur and stuff. It's almost reminds you of a bear, but it's more of an ape. As it bursts through the forest and it's standing there looking at your group.
So you have approached our group in hopes of doing battle, have you not? And then you see the old man. Not really. He's a middle-aged. He's a middle-aged man. Come on, guys. He gets up. He unsheaths his sword and starts yelling, "We are under attack! Prepare yourselves. We shall slay this furry creature before the night is done."
Yep, everybody roll initiative. We're going to do D6. And if you got a plus or minus to your dex, add that in also. So straight D6. What did
I
you,
got 2.
Darnan with a 2? And what about Dalo?
6.
Nice.
Dalo on a 6. And how about Morgan?
1.
Oh, no.
I'm sleeping.
Yeah, this round, you will actually be out Dalo as you're being waken up by Darnan and stuff. Even though you did get the top score, you're being you and your friend and Morgan and her retainer are being awakened by the screams of Darnan. So we go down to this ape creature as he looks towards the two who are standing, which would be Darnan and Balbix at this time. He takes off running towards Balbix and just lunges and jumps straight at him as he tries to jab these two big, huge claws into him. And the first one will miss. Ooh, the second one's a nat 20.
Oh,
Balbix will take 6 points of damage. So you can tell me how Balbix dies, Darnan.
Balbix jumps out of the way and says, "Master, look out!" And as he does so, another claw swings from the opposing side, and swipes at him. And you see blood spurt out of his neck as 3 deep wounds cut into his neck, and he starts gurgling, "Master, darn it!" And he plops down.
Yep, as Balbux falls down, Darnan, this big ape creature is there close and looking at you now. It is up to your turn.
Darnan, he witnesses the death of his faithful servant that has served him very well for the past 3 years on the road, actually 4 years on the road, and many years before as his, a gardener at his estate. And you see the eyes of Darnan basically come alight. You see his eyes burn with rage, and he says, "You have killed Balbix, you bastard! You shall pay!" And he lunges at that creature with his two-handed sword. He goes into a battle frenzy. So
yep. So that will give you a +2 to hit, +2 to damage, and -2 to your armor class. And roll a d6 first to see, and plus your level, see how many rounds it will last. Unless you
5 plus 4.
All right, so 11 rounds.
Okay.
I mean, no, not 11. I'm sorry.
9.
9. All right, so make your attack on this big ape.
And I rolled 17 on the die.
Yep, that hits him.
Yep. And I believe it's 1d6. Ooh, maximum damage. 6 plus 1 for the weapon, plus 2. So that's 9 damage on that ape.
9 damage? Tell me what you do to just cleave straight into him where you drop him.
As the creature turns around after swiping that, Balbix, the creature is quite smug knowing that he has made his first kill, but he's completely unaware of this gigantic two-handed blade coming down on him vertically. As the blade swings down, you hear a sound, followed by a crashing noise as the blade actually cleanly cuts through vertically from head to the groin of this ape and actually hits the ground. You see the ape split like a banana, cut in half, and splits. The creature splits in sideways in two direction. And as it does, you see all the blood and guts shower out of there. And as the fountain of blood subsides, you see Durnan, the berserker, pant heavily with his enraged visage basically burning through the darkness.
Yep. And as this happens, Dalo, you and Morgan are waking up now, coming to your senses as you see Durnan sitting there holding this very bloodied sword and seeing the two bodies of one large, huge body laying on the forest floor, and then, of course, what you know would be the body of Balbix.
Morgan kind of looks up, and she's impressed. She nods, and she says,
before Morgan can talk, Dalo quickly waves at Morgan and is trying to tell her don't speak right now, and is trying to warn her. Since Dalo has obviously worked with Durnan before, I guess Dalo knows about these episodes that Durnan has sometimes.
And as if that's some sort of a
Morgan, don't say anything.
And as if that's some sort of a cue, Durnan actually raises his sword again and starts hacking at that body and cursing at him while saying, "You killed Balbix, my faithful servant, you bastard!" Ah! You see the chunks of meat fly out of that creature. And that goes on for a little while.
Yeah,
Yep.
so at that, Morgan just kind of nods and rolls back over and goes back to sleep.
Dalo, you come onto your senses because you feel after Durnan starts calming down, you know it is now time for you and your faithful Herrick to take over.
Yeah, I mean, I'll let him finish his episode first, and once I know that his episode is, once I know Durnan's episode is, fully over, only then will I actually get up. I just pretend I'm asleep the whole time until Durnan's episode is over, and then Dalo will go ahead.
Yeah, Durnan, after the rage basically leaves him, he collapses as if some sort of a empty shell collapses on the ground, and the old middle-aged man starts to weep, and basically goes over to Balbix and balls over the dead body of his faithful servant, saying that, "Oh, Balbix, you have been a wonderful servant. I shall never forget you and all the services that you have rendered for me." And then he takes the body and starts digging a hole to bury the fella.
All right.
Yes. Dalo, once he sees that Durnan goes to that form, then Dalo will come over and offer him comfort. And yeah, if this man's tradition was to be buried, then Dalo will also help to dig a hole. Let me see if I got a shovel here. Let's see. Oh man, I don't have a shovel. Really?
Yeah, I have a shovel. So when I see you praying or whatever, and I see that you're looking around through your stuff for a shovel, I pull one out and I say, "Do you want to dig or keep guard, cleric?"
Yeah, Dalo says that he'll dig, that he's going to dig, and he'll ask Herwick to keep charge, to keep watch, and Herwick has a bell, and Durnan, and so Dalo will tell him if you see anything, you ring that bell, and alert the whole camp.
Yeah, I mean, at that, if the cleric is going to leave a boy to watch, then Morgan will put her armor on and sit up and wait.
Okay. I'm also not putting my armor on, by the way. I'm going to help perform this memorial, and this will probably interfere with my sleep. but even still, this is something, this is Delo's work. This is what he has to do. I have, I also, lastly, have one vial of holy water, and I'm going to use this holy water in the burial ceremony to make sure that this man will not rise as an undead.
All right. Sounds good to me.
Yeah,
Y'all
I'm
like
gonna
to do
I'm gonna
the
have Bolo just not go too far up, but grab the pieces of this creature, which are now scattered in a big pile and probably going to attract predators. He grabs pieces and then hucks them out into the forest all around,
all right.
so that we don't have a dead animal in our camp.
That sounds good.
We'll keep watch with their boat.
Dalo, as all this gets done and settles down and your watch is getting closer to the end of your watch, roll me a d6.
5.
Yeah, the ideal that Morgan had of having Bolo throw out maybe the meat away from the camp in different directions and doing the best to clean up this bloody mess that the Berserker has made. Everything seems to go pretty peaceful. There's nothing that seems to come up and bother the camp. I mean, it ends peaceful as the last couple of hours before sunrise that you could wake Morgan up.
Yeah, so I guess if everything got settled down and Dayla was doing the break, then she would have went back to bed, and then she'll get up when it's her turn.
Yep, and roll me a d6 on your watch, Morgan.
All right. 5.
Yeah, it goes the rest of the night. It is the morning sun starts coming up. Everything is peaceful. Nothing else interrupts the sleep and the awful tragedy that has happened.
Yeah. Yeah. She, sits watch with her squire, and as the sun starts to come up, and she wakes up the rest of the camp, they have a quick breakfast of some bread and cheese and some dried beef, and she says, "All right, that was a terrible loss. I'm sorry, my friend."
And Durnan, with his swollen eyes and sagging shoulder, he waves her off and says, "I do not feel like eating this morning. I have lost my appetite."
While I understand your grieving, my friend, and the god of tranquility, Shinbum, he blesses you with his peace. But do tell, I believe you might need the energy to carry on this morning. After all, do you think that your man, were he still here, would want you to starve over his loss?
He has served under me for 20 years. Why did he have to leave his home because of some selfish needs of an old man? I have gone mad. Why did I leave my home and cause the death of dear Baldix? And then he starts moping. Let us
Yeah.
continue on. I shall be in the back and try to bring up the rear.
Morgan,
Very
nods.
well. Just we must uncloud your mind. We cannot have you in this state as we're out there. So please, do some prayers or something. But let us do our best with what we have to carry on.
He nods.
Morgan kind of
Doesn't
rolls
say
her eyes
anything more. Yeah.
and gets on the horse, and she's going to lead the way through the forest.
Yeah, you follow the trail or what little well, there is trails here, but as you follow deeper into the forest during the day, the trail is getting pretty treacherous as far as to take your time on horseback. You're able to maneuver and find ways. Every once in a while, you may have to cut off of the direction you're supposed to be going and cut back in, but you're able to do that with the berserker who is able to use. I'll tell you what, Jan, roll me a d6 for your survival skill.
There we go. I got 2.
That should be good. You probably got a 3 and 6 of that, but yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're able to help them find and get back to the trail head and all that to head back on to where you're supposed to go. And as the end of the day gets close, you'll think that it's probably going to be the next morning. If you stop and rest this evening, it'll be the mid-morning when you supposedly arrive and hopefully start finding the crypt. As you know, you're going to have to spend another night deeper into the forest.
Okay. I think because the forest is very dangerous, I say we should set up some defenses, and I'm gonna see if I can find some. While they're getting the camp ready, I'll get some myself, and Bolo will get some like small saplings and cut them and make like pointy stick fence kind of around the areas of the camp as much as possible. It is, but we'll do as much as we can. We'll try to find an area where the trees are close together. As much as possible, so we have like less area to do it in, and protect the camp as much as possible with that while they're preparing everything else.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Dalo has a skillet, so he's actually been doing all the cooking. Even though we're just now talking about it. Yeah, so he's going to be preparing a meal. He's with his skillet. He has a little bit of grease going off of some pork that he has, some dried pork. He's greased a little bit of grease off of, and so he has a little lettuce and cabbage going, and he's putting a little bit of that pork in there. Making up a little stew for everyone.
All right, you're able to do that, sure. And we'll start out again as y'all have a wonderful meal and the security perimeter set up by Morgan and Bolo, and Darnan seems to be coming back to whatever senses he can as far as maybe not worrying about losing his trusted sidekick. We'll start out the same watch deal though again, if that's okay. Darnan, roll the d6.
All right. He gets 4.
Yeah, you're able to sit there, and you look across hoping to see Balbeck's over there guarding the other side, but of course he's not there. But you make it through your watch as you wake up Dalo. Dalo, roll me a d6 for your watch.
Yep. 5.
Yeah, you're able to say your prayers and your study. It seems like like you say, peace is settled over the camp as it goes by pretty peaceful as you eventually wake Morgan up for the last one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Morgan wakes up and she sees that the sky is bright with stars or whatever because we're getting near the end of the night, early morning, and she puts her armor on, and sits up with her her squire.
I wanted to say something real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, when Dalo wakes you up, he also has a small gift for you. He hands it to you and says, I hope this is not an insult. I don't know if you might be able to use it sometimes. I just want you to know that there's no hard feelings between us, despite our, different outlooks on life. And it's a bottle of yellow hair dye.
She kind of side eyes you and laughs. She says, "It's all natural, but if I live to be an old woman, I'll use it." Thank you, preacher.
And Taylor will nod and then go to bed.
All right, Morgan, make me a d6 roll on your watch.
Okay. 4.
Yeah, your watch goes by. It seems maybe the stories of hearing all the dangers as you go deeper in the forest. Maybe those are just stories and rumors because it seems like y'all had quite a more peaceful, restful night the second night deeper in than you did the first night. As nothing happens.
So I wake everybody up and I say, "Looks like your prayers did us well this time, preacher. Not a peep in the night." And I'm gonna try to collect the saplings, like, and throw them,
Shinbum be praised.
so we can actually take them with us if we can on the horses. Some of them anyway, so we don't have to keep doing that every night. The little spears. Although we're gonna be at the next night, right? So I'll take as many as I can without, I'll like lash them together and just drag them if I can. If not, then I'll just leave them. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, you're able to maybe make a bundle of them and take with you. And yeah, you would know after heading out that morning if the map is correct and the notes that were given or anywhere correct that you hope it to be there by mid morning to search for this supposedly crypt of the dead giant kings.
I suppose that this goes like a storybook. The fantasy storybooks that you've probably read when you were little ones, where it says the Skull Mouth Cave, and then the cave just happens to look exactly like a skull. Maybe that's how easy it'll be to find this place.
Well, I don't know how giants like to bury themselves, but I'm assuming if there's multiple bodies, it's probably in some kind of a cave. But who knows? Maybe they're like dwarves and they excavate.
Yes. Perhaps a natural cavern that they could have built around.
I don't know if this is going to become relevant. So before we get anywhere interesting, because of my intelligence, I can speak. Because we always enter places and then you ask us what languages we speak, and we never know. So I'm just going to roll randomly because I can speak. I'm going to use the BX book for it because I know there's a chart.
And while you're doing that, if everybody wants to make that roll, and he could look it up real quick and give you if you have any extra languages.
Yeah, because it says for every point of intelligence over 10, so I can speak 2 because my intelligence is 12.
I can guarantee you that I do not know any other languages.
my intelligence is 10 also, so.
No, my intelligence is 6. I barely know how to read.
Wow.
All right, so
that idiotic priest.
Okay, so I've got ogre, and 7 is gnoll. It's funny you don't like those. So I speak a bit of ogre and gnoll, besides common, of course.
Right.
Let me note that down. I always forget to do it, and then we end up in some kind of dungeon, and then we're like, oh, what language? I don't know.
That's a good point. Very good point.
No. Yeah. I should probably make a bigger chart at some point, because it's clearly not all the languages. But there's a list of 20 here, so. All right, so that's what I speak, plus common, obviously.
Yeah, and y'all move out that morning and following the map given by Ikias and finding the best you can, you come to what you would think would be the point to start looking and searching maybe to find something. And Dalo, you and Morgan can roll a d6. Darnan, you can actually use your survival. I'll let you use your survival on this.
Cool. I got 1.
All right.
I got 1 too. Hopefully low is good because I also got a 1.
I rolled a 6, so hopefully high is good too. So.
Right.
Unfortunately, Dalo, you're sidetracked by something else. As Darnan and Morgan both are digging around, and some of the ground starts giving away, and you see what appears to be old stones as they're crumbling up and stuff, and they're starting to fall into the ground, making an opening. It appears to be some type of stone stairwell that's going down into the ground.
Well, look over here. It seems like we have found the entrance here.
What? Oh, yes. Huh. Look at that. Shinbium be praised. I was just hoping that we might arrive to the location quickly and easily.
Oh, Balbix had a knack for finding these secret entrances. Cool, Belvix.
And also, Darnan, you and Morgan, since y'all both had the ones, both of y'all roll me a percentile, and I'll start with you, Darnan. What'd you get, Darnan?
I got 91.
All right, let me get down there. You find an old, like a small stone chest that's made out of stone while you're digging around and you're looking down into this entrance there. And as you open it up, you see it has what appears to be a woven up, it's still being stored in a stone chest. It's still very well kept. It appears to be like an old, some type of woven tapestry or something. It's very small. And as you open up, it depicts like these very tall, almost humanoids, except they're in the depiction on this tapestry, they're depicted as very large.
Well, that is certainly something. Morgan, would you like to come over here and take a look at this?
Morgan, as you do, you stumble into something, so roll me a percentile.
I rolled a 5.
A5. Let me get back up.
5.
Yeah, you stumble and kick out another small stone like chest. It's very much smaller than the one that Darnan just found. But as you do and you kick into it, you open it up and you discover there's like these. You don't know what they're made out of. Probably some type of old metals or something you've never seen before. But there's 6 flasks in there, and if you look at them and open them, they appear to have some type of white ink in them.
Oh, interesting. All the same color, all white?
Yep, they're all like a very vibrant white color, all of this ink.
Huh.
And if you want to roll me 46 against your intelligence, and I may give you a little bit more idea what it's for.
Okay. Let's see, so 5. No, I already rolled an 11, and I've only rolled 2 so far. Yeah, no. I wish I rolled that for my int. I rolled a 5, a 6, and a 6.
Yeah. But yeah, you just look at them and you have no idea maybe what this was used for. It doesn't have a bad smell. I mean, it's not like a odor or gaseous smell, but it's some type of white ink.
What do you have there? And
Looks to be some kind of ink, and I kind of, I gather everybody together. Does it look like that? Does the tapestries have any white ink in the making of them?
They do.
Okay. So I say, these two things seem to be related on some way, though I know nothing about it. So we should definitely take these. Let's put them in our saddlebags.
Perhaps it is war paint. We could plaster them over our faces to make our enemies tremble in fear.
Ikia sent us here to collect the artifacts, not to
I
play
have
with
heard of cultures that do such a thing. Perhaps we should try that.
Well, let me take a closer look at it. And then he leans over and tries to study that ink as well. Could I roll a 4d6 to try
On
to
your
see
intelligence?
Yeah.
Yeah, on your intelligence, sure.
Oh, no way. Well, I am positive this is some sort of a bone powder. Yes, mixed in with some rainwater.
Dalo will look, and he'll study for a second also, and then he'll go like, yes, perhaps some kind of holy water. Actually, by the clarity of this and the quantity, I'm sure that would bring the blessings of the god upon us.
Delos, you have no idea what this is, do you?
Of course I do. It's obviously war paint, like you said, friend.
Yeah, I close it up and I say I give it to Bolo to put it in the saddlebags, and I say, all right, this is good. We're finding some interesting things, but I think we need more information for our Patreon here. Ikius, he's a old bastard, but he's to his word. So if we find what he wants, he'll keep us in jobs for a long time.
Yes. To tell you the truth, I truly have no idea as well.
Yeah, let's put the tapestry with the horses too. And
Yeah.
I think what we can do is, can we make can we find an area to put the horses that's like a little bit protected? Is there any like kind of overhang or something where we can put our horses where they're not out in the open?
Oh
Or is
yeah,
it-
it's pretty dense, but I mean you're able to find a nearby area where you could secure them and think that they would probably be pretty secure. Hopefully,
Okay, yeah, so I'll do that. Put the horses there. I don't know. Perhaps we should leave the boys. I say to the priest.
Yes, have them look after the horses. That sounds good.
So that's what I'll do. I'll leave Bolo up here on guard with Horwick,
all right.
and you have that bell, right? So you can ring the bell if there's an issue.
Okay.
But
And
then-
I'll have them assemble the sticks that we use for spears, like to block the area, and make like a little barricade so they have some time if something tries to charge them.
But
Perfect.
then who shall bear the torches as we explore inside?
I mean, we could bear our own torches.
I certainly cannot wield this blade with just a single hand.
Does a sling require one hand or two?
A sling, I would think you'd have to use two by loading it and all that.
Yes.
Yeah, and I have a bow, so we're not exactly. But what I'll do is I'll just have my bow in my hand and like an arrow in my hand, and then I'll just hold the torch and I'll just drop the torch if I have to. I mean, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
If we want to use
Hopefully
misfit, I don't think we're going to go. I mean, before we just all right. So let's leave. Let's just leave the horses and the boys there for now, and let's just look down the stairway and see what's down there, because we don't really
Okay.
know. What,
Sure.
there might be enough light down there once we, because we have light coming from above.
Yeah, you appear down to the stairwell that's going down, and you can tell it definitely goes more than 10 feet, and it appears to be very, very dark on further down. You don't see any type of light coming up from and down deeper.
All right, that's fine then. I take my shield and just like throw it over my. I have it like strapped to my arm, so it won't be effective as a shield, but I have it with me if that's okay. And I'll hold a torch in my hand. Is that fine?
Yep.
Okay. So I'll make my AC will be 14 then. So I just strap the shield back so it's like out of the way, and I hold the torch in my hand. I have a brass oil burning torch, and I light it. And I take my empty backpack and throw it on my back, and my sword, because I don't think going into a crypt we're going to need a bow right now. So I'll just take the sword with me, and then I'll start heading down. I'll say, okay, guys, let's do this. And I mumble, hopefully low enough that the priest can't hear me, a couple of prayers as I start to walk down the stairs.
All right. Dalo says, I have a staff here. Perhaps I should go first and bump the floor, before we get there. Make sure we're not owning any traps.
Good idea. Can you magic the staff to bring us some light?
This I cannot do, for my God has not blessed me with that power this day.
Okay. I nod, and I'll stay back a little bit, but the torch is like 30-foot range, so I can stay behind you and still be able to see.
And you would notice that the going down, it seems to be fairly wide, that it's about 10 foot abreast, that two of you can probably walk together, and one in the back, or if you want to put one and then two, or however.
Yeah, I mean, I'll stay like half, like if we're all walking down the stairs, I'll stay like one stair behind, but to the side of the cleric, so that I'm not on the stair that she's tapping, basically, or he's tapping. Sorry.
Right.
So I'm basically in the front row, but just a step back, so that if there's if the stair goes down, I won't be on it.
Sounds good. And you notice you go down the 10 feet, and the light starts showing. It appears 20 feet down, and you see where the stones are, along the wall, going deeper into the ground itself, and some of it's starting to crumble, and you notice along the edges of the wall where water seems like natural water in the ground is kind of seeping around through cracks in the stone as it's kind of slippery and stuff along there, and some of it's kind of dripped on the floor. But it appears that as you go down that 20 foot and the light source goes in front of you, it appears that it's going to open up into a very large room. It's just like a large opening, and there's no doors.
How does it smell?
Just the musty mildew smell of the water seeping into those stone rocks probably for years and years now.
All right, so it's musty. But it's not like, it doesn't smell like a swamp or anything. It just smells.
Oh no, just okay. the along that, right?
Okay, perfect. I'm nervous about methane.
No.
After Crystal's game.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll say tap tap. Actually, if it's only going down about 20 feet. Yeah, so I just have to make it. I say let's go down and see what this chamber looks like, and then we can make a call on whether or not we want to bring the boys down. But I think they're fine where they are.
Yeah.
I've got the torch.
Yeah, sounds good. So yeah, Dalo is tapping.
Yeah, you're tapping and moving, and once the torchlight starts to go out into more of an open radius, that you can see this room is probably going to be very huge. I mean, you cannot see the outer edges of it. I mean, but you can tell this is going to be a very large room that you're about to enter. And you notice on the south wall, which would be to your left, it appears you see where roots are growing through the stones, and there's broken, crumbling stones, and you see some of the water, but it's seeped in on there. But you can tell it's very ancient and very old about this large room you're about to enter. And you also notice, as soon as you notice right at the edge of your torchlight, you get a glimpse of something that's in this room. You just get a small glimpse of the outline of something there in the room itself.
Okay. At this point, Dalton will now take out his lamp and lantern and light it up. Like he's going to stand where he's at. I assume he's about 15 feet ahead, so that he has another 15 foot of light in front of him. So now he's going to take out his lantern and light it up, and that should give him an extra, like 30 feet.
Yeah, and as you do that and maybe move up a little bit ahead of Morgan and Darnan, you see it illuminates more, and you see what appears to be a very large, probably maybe 12 or 15 foot long, this coffin that is lying in the middle of this stone crypt. And you notice it appears to be made out of some very old, ancient, thick black woods, and they have iron ring handles on the side of them. And as you can see, the first one is getting into your light. It appears on further north, because y'all would have came in from the west, I'm going to say. And if you look back to the north, it appears the outline of probably another one of these coffins. Your light's not enough to illuminate quite all of it yet.
Dalton is going to go up to it with his staff. He's going to tap, tap.
Yep, and as you go up to it, you see a plaque that is nailed in with these old type of nails. And like I say, this old thick wood that is evidently held up, maybe fairly decent. But you see a plaque on top of it that has a name, and it has some wording under it. But not being able to speak any of this language, it doesn't look familiar to you at all.
Dalton goes up and he looks at the plaque and he rubs his chin. Says, yes, it's just as I feared. Morgan, come look at this. What do you make of this plaque?
Yeah, I'll walk up and see if I can read it.
Yeah, and you see like a name, and below it appears to be maybe 3 words below it, but it's written in something you don't know either.
Okay. Is the wood wet?
No, it's not. It's none of the water is completely seeped over to this area here. It's fairly dry right here.
All right, I'm gonna pull out the parchment with the coal or whatever, and I'm gonna take a pressing of it.
And the lid seems to be secured on this coffin. It looks like it has never been disturbed or anything. It looks like it was laid just days ago, but all of you can tell this is very ancient.
Yeah, I'm trying to decide. I think the pressing of it is probably all we need. I say to the cleric, I don't know if I want to disturb, and remove the plaque. Although it does look like it's held with nails, we could pull it. What do you think?
Yes, that sounds like an excellent idea. That's exactly what I was thinking when I saw it.
So I do that. I do a rubbing of it.
I have a mallet, if that will help you to pop those out of there.
Oh, hold on. So you want to pull it off?
Oh, I thought that was what you were wanting to do.
No, I said the opposite. But if you think we should pull it off, then
No, if you don't think we should pull it off, that's what I mean. That's what I was thinking.
Well, this is definitely your domain. Not my.
Exactly. Disturbing this tomb would surely be disturbing this man's rest. We shouldn't mess with his coffin or whatever. That's what it looks like to me, a giant coffin.
Okay, so I make a rubbing of it for now, and we'll figure it out. So this one is sealed, and it has some kind of. We don't know the name, right? It's some kind of a name we wouldn't know, but we know it's a name.
Appear maybe the name would appear as maybe you're thinking it's probably the name would be Enzo, Enzo.
Okay. All right. So I do a rubbing of the plaque for now, but I just kind of look at it to see how hard I think it would be to remove it. If I use like a knife, do you think, and there's just nails, right? Do I think I can pull it off without damaging it too much?
With just just a regular pocket tap knife, you mean? Or
well, I have a dagger. I have a pickaxe, but I feel like that would be too much. I have a shovel. I'm not sure if that.
Yeah, you could probably a dagger would probably be able to do it without too much damage to your dagger or your.
Are you like contemplating this out loud? Like, what could I use to get that off? I could use this dagger.
Yeah, well, I say that. I say, well, if we want to take it, I could probably get it with dagger. But let's see.
Let's not do that as much as we can. As much as we can not. Like I said, I'd really hate to disturb someone's final resting place.
Yeah.
Well, if that were the case, then we shouldn't have been coming down here in the first place. We are here in the crypt of these giants. We're disturbing their rest already.
Well,
so long as the tranquility of Shimbium is with us, we shall not disturb the presence.
You make an impressive argument, old man, but let's move forward first and see. I think I see the shape of another sarcophagus in that direction.
Speaking of sarcophagus, I'm curious what's in it. I'm certain these ancient giants were buried with their treasures, and if their size is an indication, the jewels that they wore might be just as large.
You want to disturb a grave so that you may rob it?
Well,
so at that, Morgan's eyes light up and she thinks for a second and she gets the pickaxe.
Well, we are here in the first place, and we're here to retrieve something from here.
Yes, to retrieve, not to disturb the dead.
Well, maybe we should just look.
We are not going to be grave robbers. I should have no part in it.
No, I would say we're wrong.
We're just gonna look
for ancient features. We don't even know if these creatures valued their. They probably did.
They were probably quite chaotic, I must say. And I'm going to stick the pickaxe inside the side and see if I can pry the lid up.
To pry the lid off this one, sure, you're able to pry it up without much trouble at all.
Yeah, I say we're just going to take a look.
I pull the tranquility of Cinnabum from you. If you rob this grave, I shall ask Cinnabum to put a curse on you.
When he turns around, I like mockingly mouth those words, and then I put down the pickaxe, and I lift the I have the torch in one hand. Can I lift the lid with one hand or no? If not, I'll ask
It
the
would
barbarian.
probably take two of y'all to move this lid because, like I say, they're very huge, probably 12 foot long, or so or more.
Okay, so since the
Come
cleric,
Logan, I'll
since
talk
the cleric
to
has
Be your
a
domain. In peace
Yes,
and disturbed, in
okay,
chaos
since the
must
cleric
reign.
has
May your
a,
judgment be swift upon this grave robber.
since the cleric has a lantern, I'm gonna douse my torch, and I'm gonna call I'm gonna say, Burnham, help me with this.
You don't need to say it twice. And he walks over there. Hello?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, he helps.
Actually, can I actually before instead of dousing the torch, I'm gonna actually those roots that are sticking through the side. Can I sit it over there, or is it too wet over there?
Can you walk over? You said, or
Well, can I walk over there and stick the torch into the roots so that it's lighting the room up still? So I'd rather have as much light as possible.
roll me?
But-
Yeah, you can try. Let's see. Roll me a d6 as you go over and try
Okay.
to.
I got a 5.
Yeah, you go over and your torch kind of starts fizzling out. You know that it's not going to take.
All right then. I say okay, it's fine. Do I think that the lid would light on fire if I put the torch on it, or is it thick?
It's very thick. I mean, this is like huge, thick wood.
All right, then I put the torch on top of the lid for now. If I don't think it's going to burn the lid, because I don't want to start a fire, I just want to have my hands free. So I put the torch on top of the lid, and I grab one side of it, and I say, "Ready?" And heave, and we're going to open it up and take a peek.
Yeah, as y'all open the lid up, the first thing you see is a skeleton laying in there, but it is out in its final resting place, and you would think it would appear, if you had to guess, would be 9 or 10 foot long skeleton. But you're also hit by this very sickly sweet odor smell as it kind of infiltrates into your nostrils. It's at first it's almost a very sweet, flowery smell, but then it's kind of got a sickly smell to it at the end as it just wastes through the air very quickly. But you see the skeleton laying there, and you see on one of its fingers this very large, silver ring.
My eyes get very big, and I say, "Well, in for a penny, in for a pound." And I reach in and grab the ring.
Yeah, I mean it's very big. I mean it would have to be definitely somebody have to resize it, melt it down, resize it, or something to wear it. But I mean it's an old silver ring.
I'd say that would make a fine bracelet for you.
Yes, this is beautiful, or the pommel of a sword. And this is for historical reasons. As I drop it in my sack.
As this is going on, Dalo, you've not partaken in it. As you maybe turn around and scan back towards the north, and shine your lantern up there. Sure enough, you see what appears to be another one of these coffins that is on further into the middle of the room, and you also glance. It appears to be like a inset that is on further west at the edge of this room. It appears to go into a small inset, and you see something on further north that is an outline of something too at the end of your torch light.
Okay. So this was just like a stairway that went in the ground, right?
Yeah, I mean it went down deep into the ground into this huge room. Now that you have seen most of it, you would tell maybe the room's 50 by 80 or so, or even bigger. It's just a huge open room.
Was there a way to close the room?
No, there was no doors at the entering into the crypt.
Okay. Would it be possible to collapse the entrance?
From the outside, you mean?
Yeah.
Not unless you had something that would. No, I don't know.
All right. Well, Dalo can't do anything about these troops being robbed, but if tranquility is going to be disturbed, he's not having any part of it. So he's just going to start heading back for the entrance.
Dalo, where are you going?
I will have no part of this. This is no adventure for me, friends. You have disturbed peace here by defiling these graves. I shall not be associated with grave robbers.
But the whole point of coming down here was to retrieve something for Ekius, no?
It's not from a grave. Ikius would know that I would never steal from a grave.
Well, clearly he didn't know that because this is in fact the job and was clearly stated to us. If you weren't so busy bossing around your boy and acting so uptight, you would know that. And I'm going to put the lid back on top of the coffin that we just took from, and I'm going to grab my torch and I'm going to say, "Let's check the other ones, Durham. It's getting a bit stuffy in here." Yeah, I'm going to head north, I guess you said.
Yeah, and y'all would see that then of what Dalo would have seen first. Appears to be another one in the middle of this room, and appears to maybe one on further up past it, but it also further to the west, maybe 20, 25 feet from where you are. It appears like there's an inset on into the wall itself of something over there.
Okay, the west wall is the wall from where we came in, right? I'm quickly just kind of mapping this so I see where things are. Okay,
so y'all came in from the going west, from east to west. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So I see that and I say, "Ooh, come, Durham. Let's check this out first." And I'm going to walk to the inlet because maybe there's another room in here.
All right, and Dalo, you're going back outside.
No. Dalo finally just like kind of huffs and well, now he's the only piece that can be around here. So he'll follow, but he's following behind. He's definitely not happy about all this.
All right. Morgan, as you move on to this inset and get over there where you can light it up more and see, this is what you notice. It's inset into the wall. You see a very old, it has to be old because some of it's worn and pieces of it, but you see what appears to be about a 10-foot tall statue of a very rotund man that is, got the big jowls and the big chin, but you see his face is broken into a very large smile. The statue is. There's one arm that is extended out towards you, as like he's welcoming you, and the other one is crossed across his chest.
He's smiling.
Yep, with a large smile, like a hand that's outstretching to welcome you.
Okay, I'm gonna, if I can. I mean, I'm not super tall, but I'm gonna. Can I see in the hand? Like, how high off the ground is the hand?
Oh yeah, you'd probably stand up, or or enough to see there. And it's open. There's nothing in there. It's empty.
What do you think? And I put a copper piece in the hand.
Nothing happens.
Okay. So it's often wise to appease the deities. Oh, and then I realized that the ring was silver, so I switched out for a silver piece.
You put a silver piece in place of the copper?
Yeah.
Yeah, and as you do, you hear like something grinding behind into the stone wall, and it seems like a little opening starts opening up behind the back of the statue. It seems to be a small compartment that you wouldn't be able to walk into, but you could probably get down and look into it.
All right, I step back and draw my sword. And I'm just going to
Well
give it a minute.
He says,
I'm going to give it a minute to make sure nothing crawls out.
Yep, nothing does.
I'm going to say, are you feeling brave?
allow me to take the point from now on. Stay behind me, my fellows. And Durnan the Berserker takes the point and he barges in there.
Yeah, it's not big enough to walk into. It's going to be something you're going to get down on your hands and knees and pretty much look into there. It's probably not, 3 foot tall or something. It's very small opening to the wall.
Oh,
itself.
actually, I probably have to do it then because you're too big. You're like a big muscly dude, right?
No, he's actually a pretty average looking guy. He looks pretty buff, but he's not like the overwhelmingly muscly dude.
Oh, okay, that's fine. All right, so I hold the torch close so you can see, and I say, take a peek and see what's there. If there's a room beyond, we'll make our way in.
Be sure to illuminate the nook and cranny. I'd hate to
Yeah.
go in there and be bitten by some sort of a strange spider, scorpion.
Well, actually, I can just hand you the torch if it's easier. I don't know what we're looking at, so
Actually, that may be the best way. He takes
yeah,
the
I'll give you the brass torch, and I
This is what you see as you look in there, Darn, and you see piled up is some bones, and you can tell the bones come from a large human Nord figure, and you see the bones, and on top of all the bones itself is sitting a large skull, and as you put the torch line on it, it seems the skull is maintained a very large smile depicted on it, and you see sitting next to it is a old sack that is tied up next to the skull and bones.
That's interesting. He shouts over to Morgan. I see a large sack here. And a fellow's head that's still smiling.
huh.
Should I pull out the
A head
sack?
that's smiling. Is that rotted?
Well, I could make out the smile. If you'd like to crawl in here and take a look at it for yourself, I'll be happy to crawl out of here.
Well, grab the sack first.
I shall. And he reaches in and grabs the sack and tries to pull it out.
Yeah, you're able to pull the sack out.
May your greed not consume you.
Oh, put a sock in it. And he pulls out the sack out of there.
Yeah, you're able to pull it out. Is somebody going to open it?
Yeah. He's going to
Who
open it.
opens it? You're going to open it, Darnan?
Durnan's going to open it.
All right. You find, roll me a D100, and then you also find another thing in there.
Okay.
Hopefully not a snake.
I roll 4.
A 4.
Oh, wow.
Okay. As you open the sack, you discover what appears to be it's no decorations on it, and it has some dents and stuff in it, but it's like an old bronze pot that appears to be very old and ancient, but it's badly dented up.
Pot.
Well, here it is. Is it very large?
No, it's probably about, maybe quart size or whatever you would say.
Could be a drinking cup for a giant.
Certainly could be.
And as you continue to dig in the sack, you also find what appears to be made out of bronze. You find a like a jug, a pouring jug, and it's very aged. I mean, of course, with patinaed and stuff of being there for ages. But there's depictions on it of what appear to be very tall humanoid figures that are on it, all around the jug, standing in different poses.
Do you believe Ekis would be happy to have this back?
I think so. These seem to be the types of artifacts that he would enjoy. I'm curious if he'd want the skull or not, though. So I'm actually gonna go down there with the torch. I'm gonna snag the torch from Durnan, and I'm gonna move into the area with the skull and the bones.
Right?
And I want to get pretty close to the skull, like as close as I can without lighting it on fire, since I have a torch. And I want to see if it has any engravings or markings, or if it's just like a skull.
Yeah, it's just a large skull, and sure enough, you see what appears to be that, it has almost a smile that was depicted on the statue outside. It appears it died with a smile on its face.
Interesting. I'm going to check the teeth.
Yeah, they're
Is it-
very large humanoid teeth that are in it.
It doesn't have any like gold fillings or anything.
Nope.
Okay. As Morgan's inside this like little chamber, like looking at this bones, she's thinking to herself, "Well, It probably the skull itself might be interesting for scientific purposes, but she's not sure she can get out of here with it with the priest here. So she takes one more minute just to kind of, without being too messy, just kind of like look through the bones, like maybe move them a little bit with her hands to see if there's anything underneath the bones, and if not, she'll pull back out.
All right.
Yeah.
No, you find nothing else, and you also found this old parchment, this old scroll that was rolled up there in the sack itself. And as y'all pull it out of the sack and open it up, maybe to look at it, you can tell it appears to be written in the same language as the name tags were on the crypt that you looked at so far, and nobody, of course, can read it.
Okay, so that's fine because he'll be able to interpret that. I'm sure he'll want this stuff. This seems like the stuff he'd want. So that's good. We're happy for our Patreon's going to get something. I'm going to leave that silver coin on the hand for now. I don't want to take it back because I actually want to. If I'm too short to do it, maybe I'll get a boost from Durnan. But I want to look at the smiley face of the statue.
All
and
right.
see if I can see. And again, I'm gonna check the teeth to see if there's any kind of like, if there's any valuable item in there, because it just seems very odd.
Climb up there. I think I can give you a boost.
I can't hear you, Young. You're super soft.
Yeah, he says, it looks like you want to climb up there. I could give you a boost if you want.
Yeah, I'll take a boost for sure.
Yeah, he hoists her up so that she can take a look at the face closer up.
Yep, and you're able to do that, Morgan, as you look into, deeper into the statue's mouth and stuff. You see what appears to be two small, pale brown-looking gems that are in there.
Nice. I'm going to recover them if I can.
You can do it. Reach in there and grab them.
Yep, two small gems, pale brown. Cool. And with that being done, and the place hasn't collapsed on us yet, Morgan breathes a sigh of relief and comes down. And she says, there was a couple of gems in there. Those have no historical significance, so that's good for us. And I slip it into our bag.
All right.
Now, there was one other arm on the statue, right? That was like sideways, like holding his chest or something.
Yeah, it was just kind of crossed across his chest, correct?
I'll just do a quick check of that. I don't think that's anything, but I'll just make sure there's nothing in that hand.
Nope, there's nothing there. It's empty.
Yeah. That's what I figured. All right. Okay, very good. I'll leave the silver coin there for now, like I said, and we'll turn to the two. We see two more coffins. You said, right? There's three.
Yeah,
total.
you notice there's one like in the middle of the room that you were headed to when you noticed to come this way, and it appears there's one on further up going north into the room.
Okay, so all we've seen so far, there's been three, right?
Correct.
Okay, but we only explored one of them. So I look at the to get a bead on the priest to see how much more patience he's going to have, and if he's not going to give us a hard time, I'm going to walk over to the second coffin.
Yeah, I mean, like he doesn't. He obviously doesn't approve, but he's not going to stop you.
Well, that's good. All right, so we'll walk to the second coffin. And
Yeah, you notice as you all get closer to it, it appears that the lid is loose on this one, and it appears like there's gouges and stuff on the side of the coffin and where the lid was, but you're not really worried about that because you notice on the other side, lying on the far north side of the coffin that you couldn't see earlier, is skeletons of two humans that maybe were, normal size, 5 to 6 foot tall, and the two skeletons laying on the floor there.
Well,
Oh, geez.
over there, it looks like the skeletons of baby giants. He walks over there to examine the skeletons.
Yeah. Do they have anything with them? Like, is there anything laying around them? Any
You
weapons?
see a crowbar laying there next to them. There's a crowbar laying on the ground, and you can put, one and one together and see that they probably would use that crowbar to gouge and pry open the top of that
My
coffin.
word, these were the true grave robbers.
Yeah.
Dicklos, would you like to come over here and take a look at them?
Well, I suppose If I must, I suppose if they were put to
Seems
rest
like these
properly, they
grave
stay
robbers.
at rest.
It seems like these grave robbers, not like us, have received a proper punishment for their misdeed.
Is the crowbar rusted or anything?
Oh yeah, you can tell it's been here a long, long time.
Okay. All right. So it was definitely with them. Okay. All right. So I just want to make sure it wasn't like a fresh crowbar and then skeletons because that would be weird.
Yeah,
Uh,
you can tell all that nothing's been disturbed. I mean, with the dust and mold and mildew. I mean, you can tell that all this has been here a long time.
But Morgan and Dalo, how were they killed? If they were trying to open the coffin and they found themselves dead like this, then it must mean that there must have been some sort of a trap in that coffin.
I'm gonna get down and look at the skeletons. Are there broken bones? Are there anything that looks obvious that might have like killed them, like crushed skull or something?
No, it appears that they're all pretty intact. I mean, it appears there was no. You don't see any type of trauma force to them or anything from weapons. And like I say, the only thing you find is that crowbar. You don't find any type of weapons or rotted leather backpacks or nothing. Just the crowbar laying there next to their bodies.
Yeah. So Morgan looks and she says, "My guess is that these were not adventuring types like us, but rather just common men with a crowbar, and their meager clothes and possessions rotted away with them. They probably just died of fright from seeing such a giant skeleton."
I don't know. Perhaps they were sprayed with something. Or plague of insects. Ooh, my imagination runs wild in this place.
Well, better them than us, I say. Shall we? And I point at the coffin that's already been tried.
Dayla would like to look at the the skeletons as well. He wants to see if there's any kind of discoloration from like a normal skeleton, or would he even know?
Roll me a d6.
Mm, 3.
What's your intelligence? You said.
6. So I have a -1.
Yeah, you don't know anything. I mean, as you look, I mean, they look like they've just been there for a long time.
Yeah, they certainly do look like they've been here for a long time.
I don't feel good about disturbing that particular coffin. How about we look at the other ones first?
You notice a nameplate on this one, much like the first one, and with what appears to be a name and then some words written under it, and maybe you can make out the name would be this Latro, Latro. Do y'all want to proceed opening this one, or what's the plan? Anybody with me?
Oh, I'm with you. Hold on a second.
Well, I'm sorry, I was muted. Yeah, I want to. I just did the whole thing. Yeah, I want to. I look to Durham and I say, the first coffin had a silver ring. This one may have a gold ring, for all we know. I think it's worth to take a look.
I am rather reluctant to open this particular coffin, but how about we tip the coffin? I don't feel good about opening that lid.
Okay, how about this? We'll open the third one, and if there's a platinum ring, then we definitely come back for this one.
Aye, that sounds like a plan.
All right, so I make a rubbing of the name, but we leave this one be for right now.
All
and
right.
we'll walk to that third one. When we get to the third
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
one, do we see another one after that, or is there more in here?
No, that's what I was going to say. What you see when you get up to the third one and look further north, it appears, about 10, 15 foot past this third one, the big part of the room ends, but you see a hallway that is continuing north, and a 10-foot hallway, but the big room itself will end. The third coffin, you notice the lid of this one appears to be broken off at some time, and it's partly just laying askew in different places and all of that. And you notice it appears like another one of those name tags that has come off the lid, and it's kind of on the ground in front of you.
Oh, okay. Well, if it's on the ground already, I'm gonna just pick that up and put it in the back. I mean, I look at it, and I guess it probably has something written on it. I'm guessing.
You see like a name again, and this is the name, and then you would see the words written under the name that you cannot make out.
Okay, so again, stuff that we can't read. I'll actually just take this one because it's already ripped off. So.
All right.
So I'll put it in our bag for the sage. And I'm just going to kind of get close to it with the torch and see if I can see inside. Is there a skeleton in there?
As you get closer, maybe to look inside where the broken parts and stuff are. Y'all are not surprised as the lid just blows straight up, and this is what you see coming out of this one.
Oh boy.
Oh,
this is what you see coming out, and it's a good 10 or 12 foot in length as it rises up and starts groaning. So we will roll initiative, D6, and your dex mod or minus your mod.
Okay, that was good. 3.
A 3?
3 for me. Yep, that's not bad.
3 for Morgan. Okay. What about
4 for
Dalo?
Durnan.
4 for Darnan.
Dalo is also a 4.
All right.
And Durnan shouts, he says, "Well, Dalo, that is the reason why we're here. They're unholy creatures that must be laid low. Certainly, that's the reason why we were checking these coffins, after all."
Right.
Dalo, you and Darnan and the mummy all have 4s, so Dalo and Darnan can go first.
Dalo is, says a silent prayer to his god of tranquility, Chinbium, and he raises his magic holy symbol, which is a maple leaf touching a water surface with water drops coming from it, water pools coming from it. And he says, "In the name of Shimbium, return to your grave," and cast Turn Undead.
All right, roll your deal for it, and I'll adjudicate what happens.
Oh, that's not good at all. Oh, man, that's the worst. That's literally the worst. 3.
Oh,
I rolled 3.
You rolled 2d6?
I rolled 3d6.
Yeah, I mean 3d6, yeah.
I rolled 3d6.
Wow.
And I have 3 ones.
Wow. Yeah, you see this thing just continuing to rise up and move towards the group of y'all as we go to Darnan.
I guess we can say that Shimbium does not approve of us being here.
Durnan says, "Give me that torch. I shall set that monster on fire." And he opens his hand to grab the torch from Morgan if she's willing to let him have it.
Yeah, I mean, I let go of it if you snatch it out of my hand, for sure.
Yeah, he grabs the torch and runs at it and tries to put the torch on one of those loose bandages, hoping.
Yeah, just make an attack roll, like a normal melee attack roll.
What is that? 9. I rolled 9 plus 2 plus 2. Actually, 11.
Yeah, this
page.
11.
Yeah.
Yeah, your volume's like real low, Young. I don't know what it is causing it, but it's like.
Yeah, you're super low.
Oh, sorry, guys.
But you miss it with an 11. It gets out of the way.
Okay.
It is going to, as it rolled a 4 also, it is going to look towards the priest, the cleric who tried to make it leave its own sanctuary. And it turns towards you, Dalo, and it moves and it reaches out these clawed up hands that are still partially covered. And like I say, this thing is probably standing a good 9 or 10 foot tall. And it is going to hit you with a 18. And I need you to take 5 points of damage and make me a saving throw.
How much? 5 points?
5, and then make me a save.
Okay. Make a save. I know I have a save bonus, but I didn't write down what that was. Crap. Either way, I rolled a 16.
Yeah, you're fine then. As this thing moves into you, Morgan, we're up to you as you see this thing light into and just start ripping apart Dalo.
Oh, geez. Okay. I'm going to actually move back and pull from my belt a flute. And I start to blow into it, and it's like, strangely from a flute. And I try to do the magic flute that's stunned. That's a save or be stunned for 1d2 rounds.
All right. This thing This thing starts looking towards you as you start playing on this flute, and the music starts coming out. This enemy looks towards you, and it just roars. Hey, it rolled a natural 1 on its save. So roll me a deal and let me know how many 1 or 2 rounds.
Okay, so I'm going to roll a d6.
All right.
And I got a 3, so that'd be 1 round.
All right. We are back to the top as we go to you, Dalo and Durnan.
Burn it.
Okay. Dalo is going to say, Shindiam, have mercy upon your servant. Do not let this foul creature touch me again. And he will, and he's going to be casting, oh crap, I didn't write down sanctuary. I took it off and replaced it with fine traps.
No.
Okay, so I try to cast sanctuary, but my God doesn't hear my prayers. It's quite obvious that Shinmium is not having me being here. Like, no, you brought this on yourself, pal. You should have left when you had the chance.
All right.
Hold on, you had fine traps and you didn't cast that earlier, and we were like searching.
I thought I had sanctuary. I should have looked at my character sheet.
All right, Durnan, you see the priest trying his best to help you out with his prayers, but they're just not getting through.
Yeah. Is the giant stunned at this point?
Yeah, you see that it's stopped and it's looking towards where Morgan is playing this music that's coming out of his flute, and it seems to be mesmerized by it at this time.
My oldest magic has got me all confused, but it's a good thing that a giant mummy has stopped running, and he just goes up there and puts the torch onto that immobile thing, hoping that the ancient dry bandage would catch fire.
Yeah, and I'll give you another +2 to hit this time since it's immobilized standing there.
Oh boy. And it's 5 + 2. 7. And
what about your other?
He fumbles it.
Yeah, but what about your other bonuses? What did you have for your class?
5 + 2, but he's not going into battle frenzy yet. He's just trying to.
So 9, then you'd have 9 total.
Yeah. I mean, he's not using his battle frenzy, so he just has 7.
I know, but if you rolled a 5, I just gave you a +2 would be 7, and then whatever your class deal is.
Yeah. So it'll be 9. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's not gonna. You missed it
Okay.
again.
Hey, Tony.
Yep.
Delos would like to step up and say, "Here, have some of these. A little sugar in your bloodstream will do you some good."
You can do that. You can do that on your next turn.
Okay.
as you move up towards him.
Well,
You can
I want to give it to Durnan so that Durnan can re-roll because that's what they let me do. They let me re-roll once, so I
Yeah,
want
but
to give them to Durnan now so that he can re-roll.
roll me a d6, and I'll see if you got enough time to do it.
5.
Yep, you can do it real quick.
Nice. Shove it in his mouth.
Yeah.
So, Darren, what are these things that you're giving him, though?
They're like they look like little kind of like loaves of bread, but they're really sweet and they taste strongly of cinnamon and honey. They're very very delicious.
So Durnan the Berserker, he's saying, "Oh, this should be easy," and he tries to light it but fails, and tries to sigh, but all of a sudden, feels the hand of the priest right on his mouth as he's fed this very sweet bread, and he says, "By the gods, what are you trying to do here?" And then he starts going into this enraged state and says, "Why would
Yeah,
the
but hold on. I'm not going to let you go enraged this time. I mean, but you do get to reroll the normal attack that Dalo just gave you that stuff at this round. You can reroll it.
Okay, I'm just gonna role play him like slowly going into rage for the next round. Then.
Yep, that works for the next one.
Yeah,
Yep.
yep. And he says, "Why wouldn't the immobile uh, creature sit still?" and he swallows that thing and says, it's tasty. Let me try it again." And rolls 3.
Oh my gosh!
Oh my god! What are you doing?
The bread was so tasty. You want more of it, I think.
Yep.
The creature is standing there mesmerized by the song that is coming out of the flute. Morgan, it's up to you.
Okay, so I mean, thinking that he was going to be able to light the thing on fire, Morgan had whipped the finished with the flute playing. She like whipped her backpack off her shoulder, and she just throws the entire thing that has the oil. It has oil inside of it, along with some other tools that she doesn't care about, hoping to just shatter it all over the creature instead of taking the time to unload it.
All right.
So it has 5 pints. It's a big clay jug of 5 pints of oil. So I'm gonna hawk it at this thing and just try to smash it. Yeah. 15, 17 would be it because I don't have a dex bonus, so 17.
Yep, a 17 will hit it.
All right, so it gets hit with 5 pints of oil, but of course it's not on fire. So she
Yep,
also,
you've got it.
yeah, she starts to back up the stairs now because she's at the other end of the room, and she yells to the boy, "Boy, bring my bow!"
Darnan, make me a saving throw to see if you can get out of the way of this oil.
Uh-oh. Oh, no, man. I rolled 3, so he gets splashed too.
Oh yeah, you're splashing oil too. Not quite as much as it is, but you do have some on you.
Oh. Does it light with the torch though? Do they both go up in flames?
Actually, yeah, Durnan is actually holding on to the torch right now, so if he gets splashed by it,
Yeah.
Roll me another save.
Oh
oh
god.
no,
Oh god.
1.
Oh
no.
God,
I rolled
you
1.
you are lit up, and you will take oh my God, max 6 damage. You're starting to burn. You're on fire, Darnan.
Does it light the mummy too though? Because it's a big pool.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it does,
Yes.
and it'll take 6 points of damage too.
Oh boy.
Darnan and the
Darnan.
mummy are lit up.
Yeah, Durnan starts screaming like a bloody murderer, and he starts going like, "Ah!" and he's rolling on the ground.
Dalo, we're back up to you. This madness is even getting worse. Your God is cursing everybody. It looks like.
Yeah, it does seem that that my lord is most displeased at this moment.
I'm pretty sure you cursed him.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I did do that. Okay, I have a blanket. I would like to run over with the blanket and try to It's a winter blanket. It says so. I'd like to run over with that and like try to use it to smother the flames on Durnan.
Yep, you can use your turn or your actions and all that to do that this round. You and that, and Darnan, you can use yours to proceed doing that. Also, to try to get smothered out this round and take no more. The creature comes out of the flute song, and it is going to look towards Morgan, where the flute song come from, and it moves towards you, Morgan, as it's on fire, and it's going to try to crawl and grab into you.
Because I'm at the stairs now, so I don't know how far it moves. I don't know if mummies move slow or not.
Let's see. That's roughly. Oh, it's roughly 25 foot. So yeah, that makes it to you.
Okay.
Well, it misses with the first one.
Back, you
Wow,
beast!
it missed with both of them. Now Yang has cursed me with bad rolls.
Nice.
It's on top of you, Morgan, though, and burning as you're at the stairwell. Or
Right, so
not.
Yeah, I'm at the stairway. I yelled to the boy to bring the bow, but clearly now I don't need it. So with my sword in hand and my shield slipping down onto my arm to battle this beast, I say, I'm going to take that ring from your finger. And I stab at it with 17 plus 4 total with the magic sword and everything. So that
Yep, magic sword hits it. So how much damage?
Yeah, and a 6 on the die and plus 2. So
8.
Yeah, that's a really strong hit. Probably not good enough to kill a mummy, but a strong hit.
Yeah, I mean you definitely drive into it and take some damage to it, but it is still standing there looking at you, groaning. Maybe it wants to hear some more music or something.
Yeah, I mumble under my breath about something about an owl bear.
Dalo, we're back to you, and I pre-rolled to see how long it would take you to smother out Darnan. It's going to take y'all 2 rounds, which this will be the second one. So if you want to continue putting him out, you can.
Yeah, Dale's definitely gonna do that.
Did the mummy take damage again, Tony?
Yeah, let me roll some for him.
I mean, it had 5 quarts of
well,
water.
That's not good. He only took 1 point.
Nah.
But it's better than nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Dalo, you and Darnan want to spend time putting yourself out?
I'm willing to do that. Yeah.
So does Durnan have a turn?
You're gonna have to see. If you don't spend it trying to put yourself out, you're gonna take some more fire damage.
Okay.
I mean, you can do something else if you want to, but if you do, you're gonna take some damage also.
Yeah, he's gonna stand up. So you see this middle-aged berserker stand up. He's still on fire, and now he's totally pissed, hopping mad. You see the flames on his hair still hasn't been put out, and it's actually burning into his skin. But you see the rage burn through his eyes as he unsheaths his 2-handed sword, and he starts yelling, "Ah!" And he charges at that creature, and then takes a horizontal swing towards its leg. So he's using Battle Frenzy.
All right.
And using that magical sword. So let's hope that it goes well. So that's 12 to hit.
Wow, that's going to miss it. And you'll take 5 points of damage as the fire continues to burn on you this round.
Oh my god. Yeah, he's going to scream some more. And then actually he's going to spend the next round trying to put himself out of the fire.
We are up to the mummy's turn, and now it has 2 opponents standing there. Let's see which one it's going to go after. It turns its attention to the berserker who is on fire, as it's on, the fire is dissolving on it too, but it turns towards you and tries to reach out at you. Oh my god, a nat 20.
Oh god.
Oh man.
Ooh. You'll take 7 more points, Darnan, with the first hit.
Ah! And then you see him getting plummeled by this gigantic mummy. I'm at -2 hit points.
Oh no, you're at -2. Okay. You'll go down. You're down for right now. We'll get you next round. We'll see what happens. Morgan, you see this thing entailed with the Durnan and knocks him down to the ground.
Shit. Okay, so I'm by now I'm sure that the boy's at the top of the stairs with the bow. Its back's turned to me, right?
Yep.
So I'm actually going to run up the stairs if I can do that without being attacked by it, and grab my bow so I can attack next round with the bow.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that with your helper, he's helping you. He's got your bow ready. If you want to run up there and get more space, you can take a shot.
Okay, I can do one shot this round. Okay.
You got one shot.
All right. So I do that. I snag the bow from him, and I drop the sword on the ground. He picks it up, and I grab the bow and shoot down at him. 18 on the die. That's good.
Oh yeah,
That's,
that definitely hits.
And the bow does a d6 -1. I rolled a 5, so that's 4 points of damage with the bow.
All
That's
right,
just a regular-
yeah. The arrow sticks into it, and it starts lighting up and catching on fire. It seems like some of the fire is dispersing on it, though. Dalo, we're back to you as you see your friend Durnan go to the ground, and you see Morgan run up, and then you see, of course, the arrow shoot through.
Okay, so Dalo will grab his sling and he's gonna load it with quivering hands and say, "Shinpiam, please give me your mercy," as he swings the sling over his head and slings a shot at this mummy. And that's a total of 14 to hit. I want to say 14.
A 14 to hit will miss him.
Okay. So it just bounces off of him.
Trust me, it's not my friend.
Durnan, make me a saving throw at -2.
I'm good at my job.
Come on, y'all.
Here we go. Oh man, I rolled 6, so that's a 4.
Yep, you're still unconscious. You got one more shot next round. You're unconscious though. The mummy is going to. Well, let's see. He's still got 2 targets that are. He keeps moving towards you, Morgan, as he comes up the stairs towards you and is going to try to slash out at you. Whew, the first one will hit with a 17.
Oof.
You'll take 4 points of damage from that.
Okay, still up.
The second one, an 18 on the die. Oh no, this is not going to be good. Almost max damage. We'll take 10 points this time.
Oh wow. Okay, yes. I stagger back, barely standing.
And it is up to you.
Okay, do I need to make a saving throw?
Oh yeah, thank you for reminding me. You sure do.
Okay. Well, at least I made it. 14, unless it's a -1. Yeah, okay. All right. So I stagger back because he just hit me really hard, and I loose 2 arrows because you can shoot twice with the bow.
Yeah, you can do that.
The first one's a 15.
15 is what you need, so that hits him.
Oh, okay. That was good because that was a 6 on the die of the damage. That's 5 points.
All right,
And
great.
And same thing. I literally rolled the exact same thing.
And 5 more points.
Yeah, 5 more points. Yeah. Both dice
Tell
rolled the
me,
same.
as this arrow hits him, he falls to the ground and looks like his wrappings are finishing burning up, and it's not moving.
Yeah, so he hits me, and basically it slams, my shoulder, like part of my armor falls off, and like blood's dripping down, and then it hits me again and opens up one of the wounds on my face, and I step back. I kind of have the quiver like hanging over my shoulder. I don't even have it on properly, and I pull 2 arrows out quickly and loose them both into each eye, and then it falls flat backwards. And the arrows actually light up on fire, and they're burning like candles as they burn down into the mummy as it fades away.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Darnan, let me see. Let me look at something real quick.
God damn.
Yeah, Darnan, make another save. Same thing, a save at -2.
You guys smell the burning flesh of Durnan the Berserker. Let's see if he survives. Minus what?
-2, same as the first one.
Okay. That's 11 minus 2. That's 9. Nope, he fails.
Tell me what the last thoughts of Darnan the Berserker as he goes to the other lands.
As he passes out, he thinks, Balbix, my faithful servant, I'm coming. Wait for me, my friend. And that's the last of Durnan.
Dalo, you and Morgan, as you're getting your senses back, and you see that Darnan appears to not be of any more, but there's nothing you can do for them, unfortunately.
I will say a quick prayer for his soul. I don't have any holy water, but fortunately his remains have been burned. So
Yeah, when you were looking for holy water, the Bolo actually has a vial, so he offers up. He goes back to the horse and gets a vial of holy water.
Keep it down there. I have a
So
system.
Morgan kind of stands guard to make sure none of these other creatures come to life while we're handling our friend. I guess we probably pull him out of the tomb to do this.
Yep, it's quiet.
yeah, and I would like to, if I can, like try and like, just like bless the whole tomb, you know, and any wandering spirits, hopefully put them to rest. Just kind of like as flavor. Like I don't want to do anything mechanically unless you want me to.
Oh no, I mean, as far as you know, you've done a good job at that. Do y'all want to continue back and continue that north passage to see what maybe lie there?
I definitely would do that.
Yeah.
I would say, listen, we've gone this far, and let's see what else we can recover. And I leave the stuff that we pulled so far, that stash with the stuff that we had and the silver ring and stuff. I give it to Bolo at the top, so I don't walk back in with it.
Yeah, and I was going to say, in fact, if one of y'all don't mind, if you want, Jan can play one of y'all's henchman deals if y'all want to.
That's fine.
Yeah, who do you want to be?
Sure.
My guy's super rich.
I'll play back.
You could be a 13-year-old squire or a rich exile.
Yeah.
I knew my son could be at risk.
The rich exile.
Okay, so then you are Horik. Do you see that in the chat, or you guys send it to him again? Probably. Here, I'll do it.
What's his name?
Horwick.
Horwick.
Yeah, hold on. I'll just copy and paste it in the chat just so you should be able to see it. You see it now?
Wait, Horwick is
Oh,
the
heck,
rich guy? Or
I'm sorry, I was muted. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
Horwick's the rich
just
guy.
gave you the thing. Here's his equipment pack. I don't know how well it's gonna paste in here, but we'll see.
Whoa, it's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, he has a lot of stuff.
One good thing
Oh, no.
about this chat, it's easy
That
to
wasn't
read.
all of it.
Yeah, it is easy to read. Yeah.
And that wasn't all of it. It didn't get all of it.
That's good. That's good enough, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's fine. For
Yeah.
what we're doing.
And that's how much money he had.
But yeah, y'all will continue on past. If you go back to the third coffin where this thing come from, you find nothing inside there. I mean, it's just besides the bottom of it. I mean, there's nothing there, and appears about 10 to 15 feet past it going north. There's a hallway that's 10 feet wide going to the north.
Okay. We'll head that way. I guess at this point, I had since I lost my torch and my big jug of oil, I'll take from Bolo. He has a regular lantern.
Hey,
So I'll take
by the way, does anybody pick up, Durnan's enchanted sword?
Yeah, we take him, bring him up top, and we take his sword, obviously, too. So he'll be buried with that, I'm sure.
Great.
Yeah.
Oh, do you want to use it? You can give it to your guy. Can the squire use a two-handed sword?
Yeah, that's fine by me. You can either use it or be buried with it.
Yeah, go ahead and use it for now.
Okay.
He would want you to.
Yeah. He probably
Y'all
would.
move under what appears to be it's an open, just an open, but it's more kind of like an archway that you go up under, and you walk 20 feet above, and this is what you're going to see. In the middle of this room, it appears to kind of blossom out and open about 20 to 25 foot wide. You see about a 5 foot round stone brazier. In the middle of it, you see what appears to be red hot coals that are still burning. It appears to be that it illuminates a mural upon the northern wall. And as you see the mural, the painting up there, what you notice is there's in real bright colors. The figures themselves are kind of abstract looking, but you notice it appears to be four men, four very large humanoid men, and they're all huddled around the outstretched arms of a woman who has her arms outstretched to all four of them.
Oh. Okay. Do we notice any of this white ink being used that I can tell, or is it too old to know?
Roll me a d6.
Okay. 2.
Yeah, you appear of it. Maybe it does. That does kind of match that. It sure does.
Huh. Okay. This seems like the kind of thing that he would want, but this brazier burning is either foul magic or somebody's been here recently. And from the dust in the other chamber, I would lean towards magic. And I also make the comment that, geez, if fire was in here, it would have been nice for the mummy.
I'll see if any foul magic exists here.
Yeah, and you also, just one quick thing to add in, under this painting, this mural, is some, like a sentence written across there. Of course, it's written that you can tell probably the same language that the tags on the coffins were. You're not able to make out what it says, but sure, if you want to try to, what do you want to do to
I asked Shimbium to grant me her magical sight, and I cast Detect Magic.
Oh yeah, you get a strong feeling of magic coming from this brazier and the burning coals.
Yes, there is definitely strong magic here. And do I get a sense of evil or anything?
Of evil? No.
Okay.
I'm going to...
I don't feel good about this at all.
Here, boy, bring that sword over here.
I'm no boy. I'm a
She
rich
just stares at you.
man. I'm a rich exile, I tell you. Well,
She stares at you with icy cold eyes.
All
Take-
right.
take the
I'll
sword.
bring it over there. And then he does as is told.
All right, so she's going to sheath her sword because she's not going to risk her own sword.
All right.
And take the two-hander, and she's going to stick the tip into the coals and try to move them around a little bit, see what happens. The two-hander.
It's a magic sword, right?
Yeah, it's a magic sword.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you put the sword in there and stuff, the tip of the sword starts glowing very vibrant red, like it's trying to be burned, but it doesn't do any damage to it. And you hear like a clink, like you hit something that was metal or something in there, but it wasn't just the brazier itself.
Oh. Okay. All right, so then I'm gonna pull it out for a second and let it cool off because I don't know, I assume the magic is gonna help, but I don't know that it'll permanently protect it. So I'm gonna position myself that I can kind of scoop the coals and push them to one side with the two-handed sword, and I'm gonna try to do a little push to see if I can see what was underneath, hopefully without damaging the sword.
Yeah, if you try to maneuver some of them over where you can look in that area, it appears there's a very large iron key that is laying there at the bottom of this.
Oh Jesus! This could be a test of faith, I say to the cleric.
Yes, indeed it could be. And he looks at the pile of coals and he studies it for a second, and then he pulls out a glass bottle of water and begins to pour the water in the coals.
Just regular water?
Yep.
Nothing happens.
Okay.
Oh, that's a good idea, I say, and then I take the two-handed sword and try to scoop the key up and toss it out.
Make
flip it out.
just make a save, regular save, be fine.
Okay. Okay, that's 18. That should definitely make it.
Yeah, you're able to finagle enough and maneuver enough to get the key out of there without anybody getting burned. So, yep.
Yeah. I flip it onto the gun. I say maybe pour the water onto the hot key.
Yes, better idea. And he had 2 glass bottles of water actually, so he'll use his other glass bottle of water.
Yeah, and you pour the water on the key itself, and nothing happens as far as there's no steam or nothing. It's like the key is cold.
Okay.
Huh.
Oh boy, thank God I end up like that one guy.
I'm gonna hand Hork back the two-handed sword now. And I'm gonna say, "Well done, boy." And then you're probably older than I am, and I start examining the tapestry for any sign of a key on it.
Yeah, I was going to say if you approach the tapestry, the mural that's on above, past the brazier, it's kind of you have to step up, a little bit to get to where it's at. But as y'all was turning there, it was illuminated by the coals itself. But you see up under the tapestry, you see one of these stone blocks that is starting to kind of glow as you maneuver that way, and all of a sudden a keyhole appears.
Well, this looks like an invitation, I say, and I reach down and grab the key, and hopefully it's not actually hot.
No, it's not. It's cold to the touch.
All right, I'm going to stick the key in there. I say, prepare yourself, and I draw my sword.
And you turn the key, and it just the stone block it's kind of opens like a door in a way. As you turn the key, it starts opening on its own, and it's very small. It's probably, the block's probably about 2 to 3 foot tall, maybe 2 foot wide, and as it opens up, this is what you're going to see inside. You see what appears to be sitting on a pedestal, and it's about 2 foot tall. You see what appears to be a solid gold statue of a woman that is wearing this beautiful necklace, and she's holding her arms out.
Oh. Clearly, I say, she is wanting the embrace of my wallet. So I sheathe my sword, figuring that a 2 foot tall solid gold statue is going to be heavy. I sheathe my sword, and I'm going to grab the statue and pull it out.
When you grab the statue, make me a saving throw.
Of course. Damn it. 15 against 11.
Yeah, when you touch it, it feels like it's slick, like there's something coated on it as you touch it, and get onto your skin, and then you smell that sickly sweet smell again that you and I believe it was Dernan smelled at first in that first coffin.
Okay,
but nothing happens.
All right, I pull it out and I say, "This thing seems to be coated in some kind of oil, which is probably why it's protected all these years." How's your blanket doing after that fire brigade you did over there? You still got a blanket we can wrap this thing in?
Do I?
Yep.
Yes. It seems to survive the ordeal.
So I'll wrap it up in the blanket, and then I'm gonna put my head with the lantern into this space and make sure there's nothing above or whatever that any other passages.
Nope, it appears like this is the end of it. There's nothing else on further past that you can tell or detect.
Okay, so that's cool. Did it look like we can take the tapestry down without damaging it?
Yeah, I mean it's going to be heavy, but you've got your helpers with you, so I mean, yeah, you can probably take it down and roll it up and secure it up.
I'll help you, Morgan.
We have 2 extra horses now because character died. So yeah, we'll take this tapestry because that'll be good for Echius. The statue, of course, not so much. And I'm gonna loot those 2 items if the cleric doesn't protest and get the heck out of here.
Do you look at the statue any closer? I mean, or after or you're just gonna wrap it up?
Yeah. Well, I'll wrap it up in the blanket for now because it's covered in goo, and we'll start to take the tapestry down. Because to be honest, I'm kind of uneasy being down here, and I feel like I'm pushing my luck. So once we get the tapestry down, I recommend that we get up above to the surface, and then I'll unwrap it so we can all look at it together.
Yeah, and y'all go back up with what you found, and also let's see, what the heck. Dalo, roll me a d6.
4.
Yeah, you don't find anything else as you're all searching around, preparing to leave. Darnan, you're whoever you are now. Roll me a d6.
All right, here we go. Herwick has rolled 4.
Yep, no good, Herwick. What about Morgan?
It's Morgan's peeking around just to see if there's anything left in here. Oh no, that's a d20. Oh, I rolled a natural 20. Now this whole thing's probably wrapping up. I rolled a natural 20. Wonderful. I got a 2.
A 2. Okay, roll me a d100.
Oh, more artifacts. 83.
You're bad about stumbling into stuff as you've entered this place. As you're walking out and preparing to leave, you stumble and something else laying there partially covered in the ground. And if I ever get this thing to scroll down that far, I will tell you what you find.
A giant.
Yeah, a giant skeleton raises up and
Man.
finishes you off.
And
What'd
that's
you
how
tell
it-
me? 82?
83.
83. Let me see here. All right. You find actually a two-handed sword that is wrapped up in this old black wooden box. It appears like almost a small coffin, because it's a very huge sword, but you can tell it's the same wood that preserved the skeletons in there as you dig it up and find out, and you pull it out, and it's wrapped up in a black leather scabbard.
Wow.
And the pommel of it actually has these white stones that are in the pommel of it. And if anybody wants to make a intelligence roll, 4d6 and pass, I can tell you a little bit more about them.
Okay. Let's see.
I failed.
3, 5 is 8, 9, 10, 11, and my int is 12. Oh, I just made it. 11 under 12, if that's good enough.
Yeah, that's good enough. You excuse me. You look at the stones closer, and you can tell that these are what they call moonstones. That they're from long time ago, and they'd be very valuable.
Oh, nice. Okay, so I take the beautiful sword and leather scabbard and everything, and I put it on my horse. Is it a two-handed sword because it's like a giant's regular sword, or is it?
Yeah, I
actually
mean, you would say once you take it that it would, even Durnan, being who he was, would have trouble using this. I mean, someone normal size could use it, but it's going to be heavy.
Okay, so it's more like a collector's piece. Okay, that's cool. All right, that's cool. I mean, that's awesome. I'm pretty stoked. So I put it up on the thing, and I say to Dalo, I say, do you ever notice that whenever Ikias sends us out, there's always one guy that ends up dying? Do you think he does that on purpose?
I often wondered the same thing myself. Some kind of gamble among friends of who will not return.
Oh, I guess life's
I'm glad that I'm still alive.
Yeah, and as this pretty much wraps everything up, let's just start at the bottom. Morgan, tell me how the story's going to end for Morgan as y'all make your way safely back to meet with Ikias.
So Morgan gets, back to town with the various treasures, and whatever. She brings them to him. The rubbings. We tell the stories. She drinks a lot, and continues to adventure. She's got some more scars to show for it, and eventually, down the road, you don't hear from her anymore. And it cuts to a scene where she's a faraway kingdom, where she returns to a dying father as the princess who has left when she was a child to seek adventure, and comes back to see him off in his final days.
All right, sounds good. Jan, why don't you tell me how it ends for Herwick?
Herwick goes back home and goes to sleep. And he comes back and says, "Hey guys, how's everything? I made it alive again." And then rest of the servants, they welcome him back, and he has dinner and goes to sleep.
All right. Crystal, how about Dalo? How's it going to end for old Dalo?
You see a scene of Morgan getting back and having triumph over her impossible odds, exaggerating the story and everything, and he continues to nod and smile as he gives her more drink in the name of Chinbium. May his tranquility surpass you. And as you wake up in the morning with a ringing headache, you find a note that Dalo asks or his servant Hurrick to write for him, and it says, "As you know, I could not stand being in the presence of a grave robber. So the Temple of Chinbium thanks you for your donation." And you find that giant silver ring you had is missing.
Huh. All right. Let me tell you how the story ends, but before I do, the adventure I dubbed Forgotten Footsteps of the Titans was based on an adventure by Tim Shorts of Gothridge Manor. It's his micro adventure number 83 that he calls Requiem of the Giants, that Daniel and I just got in the mail a day or two ago, I think.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I didn't actually look at it yet, so it's good that I didn't.
That's what it's based on.
Nice.
The story will end as you go back to Echius, and he takes the historical items, and he discovers, looking at that statue that you took, he comes back and tells you were very lucky because it had some type of contact poison that if you didn't fight it off, you would have been dead probably before you made it back to the town. So he gives you that information. He gives you all the statue after he has it magically cleaned himself. You can sell it for 2,000 gold. You divide it up. And you divide the gems that you found, the 2 pale brown gems. They were only about 15 gold a piece that you'll get for them. The bronze pot, the bronze jug, you get about 25 gold for them 2 together. And Echius takes all the stuff that y'all have brought him, the historical stuff, as he studies and he hears your tale of what you discovered in there. And he goes on to write a book on the history of the giants who roamed this land before the humans did. And he improves his artwork a little bit. And he actually becomes pretty famous and rich off his book stories. So Echius the Oracle is long remembered thanks to y'all, your help. But the story ends in the more darker setting of the story as we go back to the crypt of where the giants were. And it was left the way y'all left it. But you see the second coffin, you see the third or the first coffin, as the lids start moving and opening themselves and they fall onto the ground. As you do, you see 2 of the large mummy figures that start coming up out of the coffin again, and they turn and speak to one another in a language that you don't understand. And that is how the Forgotten Footsteps of the Titans will end.
Nice.
Very nice. Yeah, it's